Would you think that calling someone a predator when they've never been convicted of anything is a lie?
Objection 4.
I don't know.
So it appears that Monica Rial can't tell the difference between accusing someone with actual facts versus assuming something about them, as of course during Monica Rial's deposition, when asked if it's fair or if it's considered a lie to call someone a predator without actual facts or someone being convicted of said crimes, Monica Rial in response says that she doesn't know. So again, painting this broad picture out that Vic Mignogna is in fact a predator by her definition, even though he hasn't been convicted of anything or provided actual proof, video and or picture evidence of him having to partake in said actions, which again we are going to be discussing on today's video. As once more before we begin, if you are new to this channel and want to be kept up to date with all things involving Vic Mignogna, Monica Rial, Ron Toye, and many of the news and updates involving the Vic Mignogna case, then be sure to go on ahead and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single upload. Be sure to go on ahead and slap a like down below by giving this video a big thumbs up if you guys do stand with Vic, as well as making sure to check out and subscribe to my main channel over at UnrealNetwork, to where there you guys will be able to find lots of anime and Dragon Ball content that you guys will not get to find on here. So be sure to subscribe over on that channel, in which you guys can find the link to UnrealNetwork located down in the description box below, and follow me at Twitter at UnrealNetwork to stay connected with me at all times. And if you have anything you would like to share or tag me in involving Vic Mignogna or any of the parties involved in this case, then be sure to go on ahead and follow me at Twitter. Now, there was a small piece within the actual deposition to where Monica wanted Vic to apologize to her, and she wanted him to seek out help, and she wanted him to lay low, and she wanted basically for him to have his own little redemption arc, you know, typical anime plot twist. But the crazy part about all of this was the fact that Vic tried to apologize to Monica several times, and what I'm about to show you guys right now is the proof to where Vic actually went on record and saying, hey, I tried reaching out to her, I tried apologizing to her multiple times, and she simply ignored me. So I want you guys to go on ahead and take a look at these 3 clips and make up your minds as to what you think about this. Take a look.
Monica made several very vague references online. I have a story, it happened to me, and people would ask, and she wasn't really very specific for a week or 2, I can't remember. And it was during that period that I emailed her and said, I've considered you a dear friend for 20 years. I'm so sorry if I ever did anything to offend you. Please tell me what it was. I didn't hear back from her. And then a short time after that was when she actually published publicly her account.
What, in your personal opinion, would it take for Vic to be able to come back to work?
Objection 4.
I believe I stated it in one of my Twitter statements, or I know I've said it on Twitter repeatedly, that I've said that if he would apologize and he would seek counseling and seek help, that at that point, then I feel like maybe they would consider and lay low for a while, that maybe in the future he would have a path to redemption.
The first several, for the first bit of time, I can't tell you exactly how much time, were rather vague. And that was when I wrote her. As I said, we'd been friends, my understanding, for 20 years.
Yeah. The public apologies, what would those be?
I put out a tweet at some point that just basically said, I am extremely sorry for any unintended, certainly unintended offense or, anything that has hurt or offended anyone. Certainly never my intention. And I also apologized publicly at an event.
And who are you apologizing to?
Specifically?
Yeah.
Anyone who I inadvertently offended.
And what did you think you were apologizing for?
Inadvertently offending them.
And when you say inadvertently offending, you're talking about giving hugs or kisses and things like that, people that didn't want it.
Whatever it was that that people had a problem with.
You wanted an apology, you got it. You wanted a public apology, you got it. You didn't ask for a private apology, but he still went along ahead to give you a private apology. And this is what's wrong in our culture today. Let's say, as an example, you mess up or you make a mistake, which every single person watching this video had made a mistake. We've all messed up in some conceivable way, every single one of us. And if you want to sit there and say you haven't, you're a liar, just like Monica Rial. But if you're asking for an apology and someone genuinely comes to you with a sincere apology, then why is it that it's being scrutinized and looked down upon in our culture today, to where when asked for an apology and given one, it's still not good enough for you? So again, Monica talks about redemption, Monica talks about forgiveness, but the guy is making an attempt to come to you with an apology and it's still not good enough for you. So again, there are multiple instances where in this deposition, Monica went to fumble along her story, she added details, she retracted details, and to the eyes of the observer, which are all of us, we see that as being a blatant lie because your stories aren't matching up. What you're saying are far detracted from the actual statements being originally put out there on Twitter. So what exactly are you talking about? The woman doesn't even know what the definition of, the legal definition of harassment is. But let's go ahead and take more of a look at what happened during this deposition.
And in your opinion, just your opinion, what would you define a friend to be?
A friend is someone who you can trust inherently and that you enjoy spending time with, and depending on the amount of friendship, can be almost like a family member.
And prior to 2007, did you consider Vic to be like a family member?
Not like a family member.
Okay.
I didn't want to do this. I sat by for 5 months and let these people destroy me online. I didn't even know what to do. I literally did not respond. I did not attack back. I didn't even defend. I just couldn't believe it was happening for 5 months. And when it got to the point where I had lost so much, I realized that my only recourse was legal recourse. I wasn't looking for money. I wasn't asking for anything but to be left alone and to be allowed to have my career and my work. The first time I'm sure you have all reviewed the tweets and stuff. The first week or two, Monica made several very vague references online. I have a story, it happened to me, and people would ask, and she wasn't really very specific for a week or two, I can't remember.
And indeed, she did. And then followed by that, she included a bit of detail to her story in which, when recapping that during the deposition, as many people have pointed out, her story seems to be eerily different in comparison to what she had put out online. So you can't really blame people for looking at her story and then listening to what she said during this deposition and then calling her a liar, because there are certain elements to the story that don't seem to add up, which you can't blame anybody for criticizing, because again, everything that Monica is saying is open to criticism. It's not harassment, it's not any kind of assault against her, it's simply criticism in her stance and her story and pointing out the flaws in her own logic.
As I understand it, you may be seeking $1 million or more in this
sir.
lawsuit. No?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I have not discussed any numbers of any kind of monetary anything.
All right. Do you believe that you've been damaged as a result of the defamation of Mrs.?
Yes.
Let me get the question out.
I'm sorry.
That's all
I'm so sorry. Sorry.
Do you believe that you have been damaged as a result of the defamatory statements that you allege were made by the defendants in this case?
Yes.
Do you have can you put a monetary value on that?
No.
What would you need to know to put a monetary value on that?
If I may, Sean, let me answer by saying this. I I didn't want to do this.
And here goes another little tidbit of the tabloids having to basically put out and publish a lie in the fact that Vic never asked for $1 million. Do you guys remember a few months back when articles put out this statement that Vic Mignogna was seeking out $1 million in terms of, you know, damages or legal funds based on what had happened? Well, according to Vic himself, if this ends up being true, he's not seeking $1 million in terms of monetary gain from this case, which a lot of people need to stop lying about, because if Vic is saying, listen, I'm not asking for this, I'm asking for a different kind of recall here for something else to go down in settling the case and allowing this all to just finally die out, then why are people making this assertion that he's asking for $1 million when in fact he's not? So again, we are going to be touching up on this and many other things to come on the channel, so be sure to subscribe to this channel, guys, and follow me on Twitter at UnrealNetwork. Post your thoughts in the comment section below. Slap this video up with a big fat like if you guys do stand with Vic. Subscribe to my main channel at UnrealNetwork as well, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I will leave you guys with the following clips. That way you guys can make a judgment on your own. So again, let me know your thoughts and feedback down below, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section, guys. Take it easy.
So I went to his hotel room because, like I said, I had been flirting with Raleigh all weekend, and he was dating a friend of mine named Michelle Specht. So I went with him to the hotel room. He played for me the video, and in the middle of the video, he grabbed me by the arms and he turned me around and he started kissing me. And, sorry, and I was...
It's okay.
I was raped when I was 15 years old. And so for me, it was a very difficult moment. I was frightened, I was scared, I didn't know what to do. When I was 15, I had fought back, and that didn't end well for me, so I just kind of went along with it, knowing that Stan, any minute, Stan was going to come to the...
You know what that sounds like? I mean, I know how she's describing it, and I know how I'm going to be characterized for this, but I don't really care. Listen, I just went along with it. Sounds a lot like consent. It sure sounds like consent when you just go along with it. Cause you could have just said, nah fam, I'm good without the mouth works. Because it reminded me of my rape when I was 15, sure, of course. It always does, years later. And how did you, after being assaulted like this, did you clam up and just go with it every time Vic ever saw you? I mean, come on.
The door, and he kept kissing me and kind of pushed me back onto the bed and actually got on top of me, and I still have like a very visual, like a nightmare actually, that the feeling of looking at the door and thinking, how do I get out of this? Like how do I get out of there without ruining the friendship that we'd had, the trust?
Without ruining the friendship that you had. The man is allegedly assaulting you. You're saying that he is bringing you back to rape. That's what you're saying. I'm sorry. If any of my friends try to rape me, I will definitely say at their funeral, yeah, that I wasn't worried about ruining the friendship when I killed you. What on earth is happening here?
That we had built. And then Stan came to the door, and when Stan came to the door, he jumped up and ran to the door, and I kind of covered my face because being pale, if anything's happening, you can see it all over my face.
She's told this story several times, and Stan's interaction in the story is different every time. But now she has covered herself up so that Stan can't possibly know what's going on, right? Because, they might have to ask Stan about it now, right? They might have to actually ask Stan what happened. And he's going to say, I don't remember. There's nothing odd going on at all.
And would you agree with me that you, because they want to maintain their privacy, you would not want those names disclosed publicly?
I believe that someone who makes accusations publicly, especially with the intention of destroying someone's reputation or job, at least should be identified. I don't believe somebody should have the power to destroy someone and remain safely anonymous.
Think you're a pretty good judge of character of people?
Apparently not. I thought I was.
And when did you start to doubt your ability to judge people's character?
When people that I have known for many, many years who have treated me publicly, privately, to my face, in dozens of settings as friends, and then spent the last 5 months trying to ruin my career and reputation.